I got a invitation from Washington to join the Seabees. That was a new thing. And we went to Camp Perry, Virginia. And that's where I took my boat. By the time autumn come, I'd been in there a year, and we shipped out to Hawaii. And we joined the 5th Marine Division in Hawaii. We boarded a LST and headed out across the Pacific. When we boarded that ship, we realized that we may be on a one-way trip. We may never see that land again. We eased up there on the day of, or the night of the 18th of February, and got in place, and was in place to start unloading the troops on the 19th. And the Seabees wasn't supposed to go in till after they had the island pretty well under control. But it didn't work out like they'd planned. Well, the time the 3rd wave went in, they went to bringing back the wounded, and we seen we was in trouble. They was under the ground just waiting. They were pounding that beach with everything they had, and they couldn't miss. They were slaughtering our people. And I thought that I wondered if it was worth it. Of course, the history says it was. One big surprise was the volcanic ash. They run their trucks and jeeps and the half tracks and stuff on the island, and it was flat, close to the water. And it was all right for maybe 100 yards, and then it went up, and they just sunk in that volcanic ash. So they called Company C of the 31st Seabee Battalion to try to do something about it. So I went in the 3rd morning. We pulled up about close to the beach commander on the destroyer, and he said, "The beach is too hot, y'all circle." And they was talking with bullhorns then. They didn't have all this modern communication. And so we circled. We kept taking on water. Our coxswain pulled up beside the destroyer, and he says, "We are either going in or down." So I'll never forget what that officer on the destroyer said. He says, "Well, hit it and get the hell out." So we headed for the beach. Well, the time we got pretty close, well, we heard plunk, plunk, plunk in the water, and they shooting at us off Suribachi. And Suribachi was the mountain at the end of the island, about 530 feet tall. And then the ramp wouldn't let down, and we had to climb over, and they were shooting at us. But there was a long shot, fortunately. When we clomb over and got on that volcanic ash, well, that ash went to jumping around our feet, and we knew that wasn't doodle bugs, you know. When our dozers come out of the LST, they were sitting on top of that dozer without any protection. And there's an old boy from West Texas come out, and he was shot through the neck, and that ended his war. You go through a point of terror. I mean, you know, you see people all around you dying, and it can be you next. But finally, you just say, "Well, I'll either live or die," and you just get numb to it and do your job. It's just something else shifts in a human that you don't know is there until you get there. In about a day's time, we had a road, our dozers had a road up to the top of the ridge, which was right at the south end of number 1 airstrip. The 5th day, I seen these guys up on top of Suribachi, I knew there wasn't. I knew there wasn't Japanese there because I was out in the open, and directly I seen that flag go up. There was a many man lost trying to take that thing. But all it meant to me was they had quit shooting at us. We had no idea that it had become the symbol it did. Our first job was to clear number 1 airstrip and fill up the holes and get it ready for some fighter planes to land. We got that number 1 airstrip where the crippled B-29s could land. That was the purpose, main purpose of taking the island, I heard. But that was the first Japanese on land that we had took. I can turn the time back and see that little old island so plain. It's unbelievable.